Hi, today I'm going to go over diamond plate embossing with foil on greeting cards. So we're going to make these two cards. And the first thing that we're going to want to use is a heavy cardstock. I use 110 pound and it's just your 11 by 8.5. And I'm going to cut it down the middle at 5.5 inches. And then we're going to fold it. So I'll get my scoreboard here. So this is handy because you're able to score your cards right down the center and then crease them really well so they're nice and professional looking. So I'm creasing it at 4.25 inches. That is the exact center of the paper. And then we're just gonna make that nice and tight. Okay, so there's our card. Now we're going to put a background on this card. We're going to use black cardstock and we're going to cut that at 5.25 inches by 4 inches. That way it'll give us a nice little border. We'll see a little of the white around the edges and it'll make it look really nice. Okay, we're just going to glue this black piece down. Make sure you get somewhat close to the edges. Not too close because you don't want it to ooze out. So we'll just stick that down. The reason why I like to use the liquid glue instead of like the glue tape is because when you're doing stuff like this and you need to adjust it and move it around a little bit, using the glue makes that a little easier. Okay, now we're going to work on the diamond plate, the foil part. So we need a bit of cardstock to put under it to give it more strength, I guess. We're going to cut this piece at 3.5 by 4.5. And then we just need to get a piece of foil and make sure it's just a little bit bigger than that black piece. And by the way, you can use any color of cardstock you want. It doesn't have to be black. We're just going to cut it a little bit bigger than our paper. And then we're going to go ahead and glue that down to the foil. And the foil is just the stuff out of the kitchen. I just went and grabbed it a little bit out of the kitchen. It doesn't have to be anything special from a craft store or anything. It's just plain old Reynolds wrap or whatever it's called. And then we're just going to fold over the edges. Get all 4 of those folded over. And if you cut yours a little bit too big and it folds over more than this, it's totally fine. Just as long as it will fold over so you don't see any of that black cardstock. Okay, now I'm going to get my Cuddle Bug. This is what I'm going to use to emboss the paper. So putting these flaps down actually suctions it to the table, so it's not going to move when you're doing this, which is really handy because you don't want it moving all over the place. And we're going to have an A plate and 2 B plates. And we're just going to put the foil that we just made, we're going to put that inside this little embossing envelope. And then we're going to put it between the 2 B plates. So you'll have A on the bottom, a B plate, your embossing folder, and then another B plate. Okay, and we'll just get that. We'll turn the handle and push it through, and it will make magic. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see how it turned out. So that looks like it's going to work perfectly. Looks like the real deal. Okay, we're just going to glue this down. Now when you use the embossing Cuttlebug machine, it tends to make the paper kind of curve a little bit. So sometimes it's hard to get it to stick down flat because those corners, those edges want to curl up a little bit. So sometimes I actually put a book or something on it for a little bit just to make sure it sticks down and stays down until the glue dries. I'll try to put a link for the Cuttlebug in the description below. Okay, so I don't have stamps for everything, and sometimes I want my cards to say things that, you know, I don't have a stamp for. So I print stuff out on cardstock from my printer, just off the computer. And then I like to do that because I can use any font. I can say anything I want. I can make them really personal. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just cutting off the saying that I want to go on this card, which is going to say #ToughGuy. So we'll just cut that off and get rid of this. And I'm going to put a black background behind the little tough guy tag. So we'll just get that. Actually, I think I have a black piece that is already, it's just a scrap I had. I think it might fit it. So we'll stick that down. I think that black piece is a little bit too long, but we'll just cut off the excess. Okay, it looks perfect. I just need to cut a little bit off the end and it's good to go. Okay, now with that Cuttlebug, I also die cut some gears to put on this card, and I'll go over that on another video. It's basically the same thing, it's just a little bit different. So I'm just gonna stick these on, make it look real manly. Here we go. Just stick on our little tag and we will be finished. You could use this for Father's Day, boyfriend's birthday, just to say hi. Really, there's a lot of different things you could use this for. There we are. We're all done. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to do another card. This is more geared towards a child, but also using the diamond plate. I've actually went through and picked out what paper I wanted to use for the background. So this is going to be our background. We're going to cut this one at 5¼ inches by 4 inches for our background on our card. It's kind of sad that a lot of this is going to get covered up because it's so cute. Okay, we're just going to stick this down. We're going to put our glue right around the edges, but again, be careful not to get it too close because we don't want it to ooze out when we press it down. So, okay. Make sure it's centered and it's not off to one side or the other. We're going to stick on our diamond plate. See, this one has more of the foil folded over than the last one did. Okay, we're just going to stick that down. Make sure it's centered. There we go. Now I got some little die cut tools. I'm going to put these on here. A little screwdriver and a little hammer. I actually made these on my Cricut machine. Okay, we'll get those all glued down. So far it's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna cut off the one that I want for this card. This one's for Maddox, so I'm gonna have to cut off a couple strips to get down to Maddox's name. Okay, there we go. Just cut this off. All right. I'm not sure on this one if I'm going to put a border behind Maddox or not. So let's see what it would look like without it. Kind of blends in with the foil too much. I think we're going to need a background. We'll do black. That rotary cutter I've had for over 20 years. That thing just keeps going. I have had to replace the blade a couple of times, but it was well worth the money. I think I don't know how much I paid for it, honestly. It was over 20 years ago. But you can sure tell it's old. Okay, so we have our little tag. We'll just stick that down. And then we will be finished with our card. Okay, looks good. And we are finished. So if you could like and subscribe to my channel, I would very much appreciate it. I really want to make more of these videos if I have people that are watching them. So thank you and have a good day.